Welcome everybody to my masterclass. You got your workbook, you got your printed workbook. So let's open up and you can have a look first. So in the first, I think the page 1 and page 2, you will have the product and tools. Here are some of the recommended products that I have. We'll go through them when we teach the class. And then I want to talk about the teasing method. Okay, and then when we do each look, how you're going to use this book is that this book was designed not to have all the information in there because I want you to write your own notes. If I give you everything, you won't take notes and you will just kind of take it home and forget. So each of the page, you have your own section to take notes, but also take note of like what products I've used, what tools I've used. And notice that in the teasing section, there's T1 to T6. So I want you to identify what teasing method I'm using for each look. So you'd have to circle it and find out on your own. Does that make sense? So I might go through it and tell you, but you'll go back to the reference of page 1 and page 2, and you'll see what method I've used. So it could be, for example, did I use teasing for fullness? Did I use teasing for the crown or whatever else? One thing that I know from my own experience that have helped me to do hair really well is really asking why for everything. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? So when I'm doing something, you must ask yourself the same question. If I'm curling a certain direction, don't just look at it and say, okay, she's curling with a 25 mil. To ask yourself, why is she doing that? Why is she holding like that way instead of vertical? Or why is it on base? Why is it off base? When I'm teasing, is it like perpendicular or is it slightly off? And why am I having the teeth in? Why am I not having the teeth in? Because little things like that will help you adjust the way you do your hairstyles and you understand why more. And another thing is what I'm showing you is what would work on one model. So you might have someone that has frizzy hair, someone that has really fine hair. If you ask yourself why, you will then understand more of how to adjust that technique. Does that make sense? Because you know that that's the reason why, but that might not apply for someone that has like finer hair, for example, but you understand. So for the first look, what we're going to do is we are going to be doing, so the look in order actually, because I had to kind of plan it so then the timing works. So that we have like half day in the morning, half day in the afternoon, and then you have like a decent break. So the first thing we're going to do is going to be the hollow waves. It's going to be on page number 5. All right, darling girl. So this is Elena. So let's have a look at her hair. You can see from the front and the back as well. So we're going to do, actually, I've never met any of these models before, so I don't even know what hair extension is going to work, but we're going to like work it out, which is good because you can see it live. Now, first thing I do is when I'm asking people to prep their hair, all I get them to do is wash the night before or the morning of, not 2 nights ago, not the morning of the day before. That's way too long. And then they come with clean, brushed, and dry hair. 3 things. Really important. You don't just say come with clean hair because some people come with clean hair and it's wet and you spend like 30 minutes drying. And another thing that I would include in my course is if they do come with hair that's not prepped the way I want it, I will charge a fee. So in a contract, I'll write that I'm going to charge you $100 if you don't come with prepped hair because it will take 15 to 30 minutes of my time. But I never charge them. It's just to scare them. Okay, it's just in the contract. And then we really reiterate that because if we don't put the money, scary tactic in there, they may just come and expect for us to do it. So I would always expect them to come with clean, brushed and washed hair. So if they have frizzy hair, what happens is I would ask them to send me a picture. If it's really, really frizzy, like Egyptian or Fijian hair, like really curly hair, then I'll get them to straighten everything, like with a straightener. There's a myth that you can't straighten the hair before you curl. That's wrong. So you straighten everything, blow dry and straighten. It still works. It's fine. Okay. And so they come with hair like this. This is just like clean washed hair. So density of this. Also, I want you to understand the terminology, density and thickness. A lot of people like sort of think that they're hand in hand, like density and thickness is the same. It's different. Do people know what the difference is? What's the density? Density is... Is that what you're saying? Yes.
I guess you'd have more
Density is the amount of hair, is the number of hair. So if you have like this shape, how many hair is in there? If it's more dense. If it's less dense, or it's called sparse. And in terms of thickness, it's about the diameter of the actual strand of hair. So when someone say, oh, my hair is really thick, what they mean maybe, oh, my hair is like, there's a lot of it, but that's wrong. When it's thick, it means it's quite coarse. Understand that, because if you understand density and thickness, it will allow you to choose the right tools. Like, would you use a 19 mil? Would you use a 25 mil? Because an Asian type of hair could be maybe thick. I mean, maybe very dense, but fine. Like as in very fine, but there's lots of it, which means it's prone to static, which means you cannot overuse too much heat, because heat makes the hair burn. It lightens up the hair and it makes it kind of like reach in the air for more moisture. But if it's dense and it's coarse, meaning it's thick and dense, then you could use a lot of product, a lot of heat, and it should be okay. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So sometimes when there's static hair, you can use any wet product to kind of minimize that. You could use like a cream, you could use a bit of hairspray, but you notice that on fine hair, like hair that has like a very fine strand, the more you brush, the more you put hairspray in, like the more static it gets sometimes. So that is because of the tools that you're using. You're leaving the hair in for too long. Okay, so with this hairstyle, it's Hollywood waves. The way you're gonna part the hair is by looking at the person's face and seeing where they look best at. So you ask them, for example, I may ask her, like, where's your preferred parting? She can say, okay, I don't have a preferred parting. It's wherever works. What do you think? I'd look in the mirror. Here's a trick here. When you're looking inside in the mirror, okay, if you're looking at Elena's face, look at her brow. Notice one brow is shorter than the other side. Do you see which side is shorter? Our face is never symmetrical. Very few models have symmetrical faces, and that's why they're models. Which side has like comes down a little bit? That side. So the rule of thumb that works 99% of the time is putting more hair towards the side that has that slant going down, because it evens up the shape of the hair. So you have a bit more here, and then you have like less here, and then you even up by having more hair on this side. So in that case, we are going to part on this side. So now, where do you part the hair? If she has it in the middle, she wants to wear Hollywood waves, where do you part it? It's usually at the arch of the brow. So wherever your pupil is, go a little bit further out, and then there's an arch. And so that's where you do it. The mistake here is that people do very like little, like maybe here. That doesn't look very nice. Or maybe like too far. There's like too less hair here. So you want to do it in a way that looks good. So let me just make sure the parting is a little bit further. Okay, another thing is, notice how Elena's hair is very fine here, and there's a lot more there. Her arch is actually a lot further down, a lot further on this side. Okay, so now we have a lot less hair. We want the parting to be here, but this has a lot less hair. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in like a slightly slanted angle. This doesn't apply for everybody, remember. But if the person has less hair here, you could kind of cheat like this, just so there's more hair on one side. But in the front, you can still see that it's still kind of deep. Now with Hollywood waves, what we're going to do is, if I show you a technique, or if I tell you a certain tool, don't apply exactly what I tell you, okay? Always ask why. The first thing I do when I'm doing Hollywood waves is I section up the hair, okay? From the bottom of the ear to the other side, like this here. Make sense? This is her head. Usually in the whole of the head, I take 3 rows. And I only use flat wrap technique. I don't use twist wrap. Why? Because you see a lot of people do twist wrap when they do Hollywood waves, and there's some people that do flat wrap as well. What's the difference? More curly if you do that twist wrap. Yes, that's true. It's actually much deeper, like, and you get a lot more of that like closed wave, like very close near each other. but you notice that it won't give you a lot of body and not a lot of width. It will give you a lot of like that zigzaggy look, but it won't give you like a lot of like the body. The body comes from the actual thickness of the tongue. Does that make sense? Like here. Another really important thing that you need to remember, okay? So because I like doing flat wrap because it's consistent. If you do twist wrap on maybe a hair that is coarse, meaning holding curls really well, it will work. But if I do on your hair is fine. If I do twist wrap, it's going to like drop real fast. It will give you that zigzag, but then it won't give you that body and it won't hold. So twist wrap is good, but it's very inconsistent. With different types of hair, it may not hold, it may hold. But with flat wrap, it will always give you a very consistent result. And I'll put hair extensions. So even though this is pretty good hair, I could curl on its own, won't look as full. So what we're going to do is always add hair extension. Now, another topic about hair extensions. People ask, where do I get my hair extensions from? What do I use? Okay, so someone asked me, should the Telegram app be working? How does that work? Okay, the Telegram group chat is literally just a reminder. We're going on break, then I'll send a reminder, hey, 5 minutes until class resume. Does that make sense? Okay. What is a twist wrap, Elaine? So twist means, okay, so let's just take a tongue, for example. So this tongue here, not plugged in. If I take a section and the hair is flat, and I wrap it like this, when it's flat, then that's a flat wrap. And then when I twist it, it's when I twist the actual hair. So I my thumb back, forward, and then back, forward. I'm twisting, that's called a twist wrap. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's the twist and flat wrap. It gives you a different look. Going back to hair extension topic. Sorry, guys. Here's my for hair extensions. A lot of the brands have very smooth hair extensions. It's very nice, very expensive, and it's fine. But you notice that sometimes like you buy hair extensions and it's so silky that when you do curl it, it makes it feel, it's so smooth that it doesn't come together, it splits. Do you notice that when you curl it and it just kind of splits because it's so nice and smooth? It's great for a ponytail, but when it comes to like Hollywood waves, dry hair works better. So what I do is I get a combination of everything. So I could get some from Zala hair, some from Stacy hair, from Luxie hair, whatever it is. I'll have my set of like the normal hair extensions that I use. For example, okay, let's feel like a nice quality one. This is like a nice quality 24-inch, right? But I would highly recommend to also buy really poor quality hair extension on eBay. Like eBay has hair like this, fine, that's fine, but like it's dry, it's bad hair, but it's real hair, and bad hair holds curls better. So this one, can you see like it looks really ratty? Like it looks horrible, but it works really, really well. It holds the curl really well. So if the hair is fine, if the hair is like really smooth and the diameter is very little, which means it's a fine hair type, there's not a lot of it, you want to put in coarse hair in between. That's how you're going to hold it up. You're not going to just put hair extension like just to match the color. It won't work. So what I would do is sometimes I would put something that matches the length. Then in between here, I would put in short hair extension. So for example, her hair is maybe that length. Okay, let's just say, did I just drop my hair extension? It's gonna look so crazy. Each time I have a bridal trial, there's like so much hair on here. It looks pretty scary. So let's just assume first we need to match the length of the model of the client's hair to make sure that we get the most out of like her waves and her length, right? So you might put something like that there, and maybe this clip sits maybe around her nape, but then she has no layers. But then she gives a reference that looks like the page on, go to page 5. She wants hair that looks like the second, you see, if they give you a reference like D is like really voluminous. It's in your booklet here. It's like the 4th one in the booklet, but on there it's like D. they have fine hair and it's like all one length. Usually when you curl that way, you get a bit of curls here. You don't get curls up here. So what you got to do is you're going to have to like be a surgeon and manipulate the hair by putting in dry hair inside that is shorter, because shorter hair holds up the curls more. Does that make sense? So then I would put in hair extension at the bottom here, and then I'd go in with something like, maybe that's still a little long, to be honest. Maybe something like that. I would take this and I'll put it in here. So then the hair inside in here is shorter, and that's going to hold up the waves more. And when you curl, you notice that when you brush it out, it will become like even more body here. But if you use just one set of hair extension and use all of it on here, all the hair will just be here, and they will probably get like 2 or 3 waves, but they won't get like the waves up here. Does that make sense? So that's the story about hair extensions. And so yeah, the best tip I could give you is to shop on eBay, try different sellers, because I don't know who it is, because they keep on like deleting the post or deleting the listing. So I can't really give you a certain listing to buy from, but the ones like dry quality are really good. It's very good. Oh, also another tip for when you're displaying hair extension is to display it not in color. I used to display all in like color, like blonde or whatever else it is. But what I noticed is very hard for me to find hair extensions for my clients. So what happens is, because when you're trying to match the client's hair, you're matching to their length first before you match to their color, because their color is very easy to find. Like you can see the color right away, but the length is hard to find. And if you have like short and long all in between, it's very hard to find which one switch. So then first, when I at her hair, I know exactly to maybe go down here, and then within here I go pick my color, so then it's much faster. Does that make sense? I used to also label my hair extension like what do you call this, like this is like a trouser hanger, but I don't do that anymore, because on every single client I always mix, because sometimes they have lighter hair up here, or like lighter hair down here, darker hair here, and then sometimes they can have very fine hair here, and you got to put in very coarse short piece, so then I have to grab it from another set. So I would mix different set for one look. So I can't really just label it and say, oh, I'm hiring this set for this client. On the day of the wedding, what I do is I would always bring 4 to 5 different sets of similar shade, because I don't know if her color has faded, has changed, if her length has increased or whatnot. So I'll look at the photo. I know what I brought, I know what I used on the trial, but I'll always bring like extra just in case. And also it's good because on the day, if someone else needs hair extension, like say mother of the bride or the maid of honor, then I could use it on them and you can charge them. But I would never let bridesmaids use it, because they're not paying for their service. But like mums and maid of honor is like closer to the bride, so they respect the bride more, so they're more likely to return the hair extensions to you. So the rule is I only let brides borrow, but there's some exceptions. If they really like want to, then I'll let them hire it. Yes.
How do you price structure the extension?
Okay, so the question was, how do I price structure the hair extension? When I started hiring out hair extension, I didn't know what to charge. But then I looked at all the people that were renting out dresses and renting out hair accessories, and I looked at all their websites and I compared like what's the ratio between what they are charging versus what is the retail price, and the average was about 30%, like a third. So whatever the hair extension is, I charge about a third. So I charge right now 110, but I think it's still too cheap now, because that's the price from like 5 years ago. So now I'm thinking of upping it to 150, because I actually cut my hair extensions to personalize it to them. I use multiple sets. So depending on how much you pay for the hair extension, you can just work out a third of whatever you want, okay? And most of the time people will hire from me. I don't think, like, there's only been 1 or 2 brides that bought their own because they wanted to use it for like later on. But most of the time they'll let me like use it like from my set, because I know what works for them and I can pick different ones. If I recommend for them to get exactly what I use, then they have to get multiple sets, and it's expensive for them, because it's like $350 to $370 just for like a basic 5-piece set. And then you get to, you know, 400, 420 for like a third, like a 9-piece set or something. So it gets expensive. So yeah. Oh, and also about how to get this back. Like, do I take a deposit or anything like that? How it works is, I've never had that issue, but you always make your contract really, really firm. When you're hiring at hair extensions, in my contract, I write that I need to take a bond of $250, but I never take it because I hate refunding money. Because I'm like, that's my money, and then now I have to give it back to you, even though it's their money. But I hate doing the refund because I feel like I'm like giving them something that is mine, where like when it's not. So I write in my contract that I take a $250 bond, and that they need to return it by the following Thursday or like following Wednesday, because I want to use that same set in case if I have like a wedding the following week or a bridal trial. So what happens is, when they agree, say on the trial, I use some hair extension. And also I think another common question a lot of people ask is, how do I convince my client to use hair extension? You don't convince anybody to use hair extension. That's why I feel like the trick here is that you always ask them for references of their hair and what they want. So you ask them, what hair do you want? They'll send it to you, right? And then you get them to send a picture of their hair. That is the trick. And then you buy hair extension that matches their hair, and you pretend that it's your own set. On the trial, you say, actually, I have this hair extension that matches exactly your hair. I'm going to use it on your hair and show you how it could look like, because it's going to be really voluminous. It's going to hold really, really well. And when they see that, it's going to really sell itself. And it actually makes your work look better. It's not about getting their money, to be honest, because ultimately how she looks like affects your business. Because if people see how she looks, then they'll want to book you. So I never want to convince anybody to use hair extension. It's a very easy conversation. I would just tell them, hey, listen, are you open-minded to like having hair extension? Like, oh yeah, sure, that's fine. I think you should really have this. Like, for example, this is how I would do it if say Elena has really, really fine hair. Elena, we're going to do a Hollywood wave for you today, yeah? So from the reference that you've given me, potentially gave me like a reference of like the bouncy look. So your hair is actually really nice and it's pretty thick. On its own, it looks amazing. But I feel like for your wedding day, you're going to do a lot of movement. You're going to be dancing a lot, and you're going to be like taking a lot of photos. And I don't want that to split, because when it splits, it just makes it look really fine. So we want it to make it really full. So I would recommend putting in a few hair extensions, not for length, just for body and for hold. Is that okay if I try that today?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. She had to say yes, guys. Yeah. So anyways, you put that on, and then at the end, you can take the picture, right? And then the moment when they realize that they need it is when you take it out. When you take everything out, and then they have like the waves left over of like how thin it is, they're like, oh no, where did it all go? Oh my gosh, I wish my hair was like before. Done, sold. So you don't really need to convince them, okay? And so after that, then you just ask them, so would you like to hire them on the day? This is because usually before you even ask that, they ask the question, oh, so how does this work? Do I hire it from you or do I buy my own? And you say to them, you can buy your own. I can recommend you the shade, or you can hire it from me for 110. Done. Like, and I think another thing that I want to talk about is talking about money. I think in our industry, money is a very sensitive thing that we feel awkward to ask client for money, especially on the day of the wedding. If they haven't paid you before, and then they say, oh, I'll pay you on the day, and then they're like so busy and they don't give you the money, and you're like, do I ask them for the money? Like, hey, you haven't paid me, like, where's my money? Like, how do we bring it up, right? Do not ever feel bad about talking about money, because you've given them a service. They've taken something from you, so you need to make sure you get paid for your service. Do not let yourself be unpaid. I think there's a student of mine online, she's not here now, but she didn't get paid because the mom said, oh, I'll transfer you later. And then after the wedding, they said, no, we can't afford to pay you. So she didn't get paid. Like, who would do that, right? So it's like, you know, someone comes and cater for your event, and they're like, oh, can I get paid? And you're like, oh, I'll bank transfer you next week, but you already ate the food. Why are you not paying somebody? So it's awkward, but it actually is not a big deal to bring up money subject. So if you need to be paid, what I would say is not to even bring up the word money. I would just be very tactful, and I'd say, hey, just wondering, would you like to pay in cash or do you want a bank transfer? That's it. I wouldn't even use the word money. And then if they say, oh, can I bank transfer you? And I'll be like, yeah, could you do the bank transfer before I go? I know it's annoying for them, but they would feel more bad because they haven't organized themselves, you know, and I would feel bad to not pay someone. Like, for example, if I didn't pay him and then I'm like, oh, sorry, can I transfer you like whenever? He's like, I've done your event, like you should pay me now. Like, of course I would have to stop whatever I'm doing, pay, right? So money subject, do not feel bad because you're giving them a service and this is honest money. This is like money that we work hard for. So we should never feel bad about asking for money, okay? So I bring that up because it's really, really important to not be scared to ask for money that you have worked so hard for and you pay for your own education. And then now the bride is forgetting to pay you. Like, so in my email, actually, if people want to pay on the day, I always tell them, please have money with envelope ready upon arrival. So they pay me when I arrive, not when I'm done. Okay. And then the night before, if they do, so these are the options. So what I do is they either can pay on the day or a week before. If they'll pay a week before, they bank transfer or pay online, whatever they want. If they pay on the day, then they pay in the morning, okay? But in the email, you give them that instruction, and always the night before, I will always text every single bride just to kind of excite them. Hey, I'm coming tomorrow at this time, da 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 da. And if they pay by cash, then I would say, just a reminder, the balance is da da da. If you can have in an envelope ready for me upon arrival, it would be great. It's like you remind them again. And then when you come, they have it ready. Does that make sense? Let's get back to the hairstyle. So now another thing about Hollywood waves here is that there's so many different ways to do this, right? But the safest way and the best and the most consistent way of doing waves is actually flat wrap, number one. Number two is taking sections in vertical. So if you look at your workbook on page, like on that page, I think page 5, can you see the head? The head there. Elaine said, would you suggest getting paid the full amount before the wedding day or the event? Or have a deposit, then the rest after. If it's an event, you have to have a deposit, because if it's a no-show, then you get the deposit, right? But if it's a wedding, you have to have a deposit too. You would not do anything without like a deposit. So I hope that answers the question. So see how I draw here, like there's a 3-section and vertical line. The reason why vertical is really, really important is because it gives you the most consistent waves. When I section the hair, I don't really take like straight, like I don't really care if it's straight or whatever, as long as it's like reasonably straight. It's just from bottom of the ear to the bottom of the ear on the other side. Okay. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to test out the tools. You're going to test out 19 mil tong, and you're going to test out 25 mil tong. So before I do any waves, I would always test out with 2 tools. The reason is because the Hollywood waves that you see in any of the pictures can be done with either 19 mil or 25 mil. The result could look exactly the same. So if, for example, let's say the second hairstyle here, which is like B. Okay, so can you see B? If someone comes to me and say, hey, I want B. So for example, I've done a look like that on a bride. And when I did 19 mil, it was so curly. It was like a poodle, and she was Asian, right? So I used 25 mil for her. But say if she wants, someone with say much finer hair or something, wants that look, I have to use 19 mil to achieve the same look, just because it doesn't hold the same. So that's why I always have to test the tool before I do it, okay? So does that make sense? Does that make sense? So, yeah, go on.
Are you also testing to see how many waves you can get, like the lines, size and stuff? Or?
I'm not testing about how many waves. I'm testing how large the waves are. Like, what is the distance between the waves? Because you know how twist wrap give you like very like lots and lots of waves, and it's quite flat. It's not very like voluminous like that. So what I'm testing out is how the waves sit. So I'll show you. So I'll always bring a 19 mil. So this one is called U Show. You can get it from AliExpress. However, it's sold out a lot of the time. You just need to find it. Okay. So in the first page, or second page, you see the usual tool, hot tool. You'll see that they make it in so many different sizes. You just need to find 19 mil. Okay. And I love this because it's long, so I can fit a lot of hair in here. And also it swivels. Otherwise, you have to keep doing this. And I don't recommend using a wand as much, because then you'd have to use glove and you have to make sure the end's tucked in and it's hard on your hand. Like, it's up to you. If it works for you, it works, but I prefer not. Okay, so that would be on. And then I would also have like the 25 mil tong on. Sometimes I could also use the straightener, but the straightener would only work on hair that's very coarse and shortish, because you know how you do THD curls, the longer it is, the less curl you get at the very beginning. So you only want to do that when it's like, you know, like maybe up to here or something. Okay, so we're going to have the 25 mil. This is my favorite tong in the entire world. It's so lightweight and it heats up really, really quickly. Just gonna unplug the. Now, another question is, do I prep the hair before I do this? I'm not gonna put on hair extension yet, just because I want to show you how to curl it, and then we'll do hair extensions after. So usually this is the height of it. I think that's still a little bit too tall because I didn't really see the nape here. So I would go maybe like that. Any question? No questions. Okay, so normally when people curl and they don't really know what they're doing, or like, you know how sometimes you curl twist wrap, you might take like a thinner roll, like a shortish one, and then you divide it in sort of half, and then you kind of curl like that. Let me show you. Okay, so this is a horizontal section. Can you see that horizontal section? And I'm going to do a vertical one. I'll do both so that you can see how it looks like. Okay. So if you take a horizontal section and you curl, this is how it will look like. Oh, by the way, also, where's the hair going towards? This way. So then we're curling away from the side that has more hair. Okay. So like this. Now let's do flat. Can you notice what hair has, okay. Look at this wave here. The hair from here gets the heat first. The hair from here gets the heat last. The hair from here starts curling here. The hair from here starts curling there. When you curl it with horizontal line, you're not going to get an even curl because it's going to be slightly slanted like this. Does that make sense? That is why you don't do horizontal, because horizontal will give you a very uneven, the waves will kind of look a little bit like that, or like more slanted one way or more slanted this way. When it's vertical, then the distance between, say, for example, this is the vertical section, right? If I curl this section here, this hair here would receive heat at the same distance as the hair from here. Does that make sense? Are people getting online? If it makes sense, press 1. Yes. So that is why it's very important to do it in vertical sections so that each of the hair starts exactly at the same place. Okay. So now, so can you see I've done 25 mil? Did I do 25 mil? Yes. And it's like so loose. So I already know this is not going to work, right? So we're going to do the 19 mil. I would always put hair extensions on first before I curl. So we'll just do a few now. I think the hair is quite long as well. Just nice. So I'm going to match her. Let me see. I always like to mix and match. What? Whoopsie, sorry. Not this one. Can be dark. So her hair is like a bit brown. I mean, this one's too thick. This is like a Juliana's one, but you would not want to use something all one length when the hair is fine, because then it doesn't give you volume and body up here. So I think I need to use something down here and then like something really dry up here. And sometimes you can have a shade lighter as well. It won't show too much. but it gives you like a nice variation. So this here, it's like so coarse. Now, actually, this might work. Yes. So ratty, I might even cut this. I might even use maybe even give below here. Yeah. I'm gonna find the shade. This is all one length. Oh, this is another one. So one piece. Nope. I would use something like that. It's shorter. It's going to give it more volume, and you just kind of position it in random places. So in terms of positioning the hair extension, it's different for every client, okay? But the rule of thumb is that you want to position them not far apart, because when it's too far apart, then the length here, like the hair at the very bottom, looks very sparse. You know how you use one set and all of it is the same length, and you put them here, you put them there, you put them there, and then you get like a really, really long piece at the bottom, and then you trim it, but it still looks a bit sparse here. So you want to open them like quite closely, and you never want to put anything above this is called occipital bone, like around about the crown here where it bends, because this is where the volume is. And in order to get the volume, we need a tease. In order to tease, you need to be able to like feel the base and tease into the base. Okay, so you don't want to go above that. Just want to hold it around about here. And on here, I like to always position them forward on like a diagonal. So let's get started. Can you talk louder so people can hear?
Okay, so in regards to the hair extension, we talk about bad from eBay and the better ones. So what do you mean by bad? Like, is it
Poor quality,
which is
most eBay stuff that's cheap.
Is it like chemically treated?
No, it just means that they use very dry leftover hair. They don't use very beautiful hair. It's like those leftover hair, because you know how everyone's hair is different texture, right? They'll get maybe like Russian hair that's very beautiful, and then they might get Indian hair. Indian hair isn't as good because Indian hair is quite coarse. Sometimes they chemically straighten it to sell it to you, but any cheap hair extension is cheap because the hair to buy in is cheap, which means it's not good quality. But you just got to test it out on your own and try different suppliers.
For like her case.
Because it's dry. And dry hair holds better. Does it make sense? See how her hair is quite fine. It's really, really fine. If I put everything one length, it won't hold. So this one could also work as well, but it's very, very long. I don't want it to be super, super long. So I'm going to use that one. Can I have that piece? So I'm going to trim this one as well. So usually with these ones, you could go like that, but you could also even cut it in half too. I'll show you how to cut it in half like the other look that we'll be doing, but for now. And for like longer piece, I always do it in like a curve rather than a straight line, because a curve takes up less space and it makes it deeper. Do people know how to tease? I mean, sorry, I put on hair extensions. I'm sure you guys do know, huh? Do you? Yeah. No? Well, I like this. There's different ways. I'll show you two different ways, but for now we'll do one. For next two looks, we'll do a different technique. So usually I just like to use a bit of volume powder. Now, when I work, I want to minimize as much time from touching the products and tools as possible. So I wouldn't just spray one, put it down, spray one, put it down. I measure this and I know exactly where it goes, and then I spray exactly where I need it. So 5 spots. That, and then I'll tease all 5, and then I put it on. So I wouldn't even do one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. And then you always do the middle one first, a little bit, hold it out at 90 degrees, and you hold it out quite firm. When you push in, you release tension. If you hold it really tight, it doesn't move the hair. If you release tension when you push in, it pushes more hair in. So you gotta go in really deep. You got to pack it in until your comb can't touch that. So it's got to be 1 finger depth. Does that make sense? So go in like that there. Okay, so I'll do that for every piece. So this is what I call reset. When I let go, I reset. If you keep on going like that, it's going to make a very messy tease. And then here. Yes.
So,
Louder.
sorry. So instead of teasing everywhere, you only tease where it needs to be.
Yes, I don't tease everything. Actually, there's different method, okay? But this is the method that I feel like works really, really well and really, really stable. And you only really, because technically when you tease the hair, the clip only goes on, like the teasing only really helps the part with the clip. Like the other part without the clip, it doesn't do anything.
I'm just thinking whether it adds a bit of width if you want, I mean, volume at the base, if you do want volume.
The volume will only be teased on like the natural hair in between. Yeah, I wouldn't do it there because the hair extension pushes it down. But there's different ways. I'll show you a different way when we're going to do the other like bigger like effortless Hollywood waves. We use a different technique as well. So for here, what we'll do is we'll take it out and then hold it at you. And what you want to do is use your right finger here, your thumb, and you just want to twist it in. Twist it in. The mistake I see here is that when people twist, they only twist a little bit. You need to make sure that it twists at the root. See how it doesn't twist at the root? Can people see that online? So it twists here, like maybe probably this much. You need to make sure the twist starts at the root. So you got to twist until it looks like it's twisted at the root. The twist is going to help this hold in better. You go in, the base of this hits the scalp, and then you go in and push it down, and then push on either side, like that. On here, again, you twist. You twist until the twist is twisting that tease part that you've done. Okay. Around here, see how ears in the way here? We want to go up a little bit. So maybe I'll just clip this a little higher up. So when you're clipping the hair extension, tell the client to like push against you. So push, yeah, because if you don't, you do this. Oh man, stop. So good. Any question online?
When
Louder?
This color isn't matched perfectly to her hair. I'm not worried. Yeah. Do your brides worry? Like, how do you kind of? But they can't see.
Like I would only use it if I know that it would be okay. Yeah. I've done this plenty of times, meaning when, for example, I maybe forgot how the hair looks like. I bring a shade and then it might not match perfectly. You know that the girl that had like lots of hair and then like it looked like it was like wind blowing, like real wind blowing. I don't know, on my Instagram. Actually, her hair was a lot darker when I did her hair, but then on the day I brought like light hair extensions. I still did it and I was like, you know, it makes it look like this highlighting. Yes, it still works because, you know, you just make it work. Yeah, I'm not worried at all because we're going to put like her similar color in there. This is literally just to fill in the gaps of the bottom. Okay, so now next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a thin line above this. Thin line above this, and then I'm going to diffuse the hair extension line. The reason is because sometimes when you don't do this, the client moves and then you can see the gaps and you can see the hair extensions. So what you do now is you take a very thin section, okay, and you divide it into two. You do 1/2 first, and then I'll spray underneath like that. And then I will just give it a very light and deep tease at the same time. So like just go in like that. And when I tease, I don't tease in. I'm not teasing to build bulk, I'm teasing to diffuse, meaning I'm trying to create like a more like a V shape here. So I want to pull this down. See that? I want to pull it down so that I don't see any of like the hair extension. Can you see that? So now you can't really see the line of hair extension start. That's what you want. If you do very, very deep tease, you can make it very strong here, but you can still see the line. That's not the point. So the point of teasing here is to diffuse. So just go in. And when I do this, I don't hold it up in 90 degrees like that. I was just trying to show you. But when I do this on the client, I will just hold it and then kind of go down like a C curvature, like you go down like that. Okay. And so now, usually if you use another set, you do it on here again. You do like hair extension on here. But because I want to, like her hair is pretty like good, I just want to add a few more, like maybe this is even good too. So if I add this on, it sort of matches. So now see how I already teased this part. So what I do now is I just pick a little bit and I twist that because I've already teased it. So we'll undo this. We always start in the middle first. Yes?
Is that how close you put the extensions together, like stacking them, or how you can...
Not all the time, but most of the time, yes, because we want the base to be very full. If the base is already like one length, then it's already full. Her length is not full. Her length is like very wispy. If you kind of do, so for example, if this is her hair, I'm going to trim this here, right? Her hair is still very, very sparse here. And when you curl it, you're going to have a lot of separation in the hair. If you do like this one up here, then you're going to still get separation. So what we're going to do is we're trying to fill that baseline to make it really thick. In order to do that, we need to stack it up quite closely. Does that make sense? So we do this when we want to really build the baseline to make the baseline really thick, like that there. So now we have that. We could go in right away. I will just pick a little bit here and I will just twist it. Twist that until the push against me. Oh, thank you. I didn't even have to see you. Normally put the hair extension before I trim the base. I don't trim it beforehand because I don't know what length I need. And you know, I do this technique of like twisting. It doesn't hurt the client when you don't twist and you it's so secure that it doesn't even hurt them when when it's on. They'll feel there's something in their hair, but it's not like heavy or uncomfortable. Okay, let me know if it hurts you. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
Okay. So now I could kind of see like where it is, like maybe her hair is like around there somewhere, which is okay. Do you mind if I trim a little bit this line? Okay. I was like expecting her to say, actually, no. I'm like, okay, sure. Then I had more hair extensions. Okay. And so sometimes they get these little pieces here. So I see how I trim a little bit like shorter here. Sometimes I put that in the front to kind of create like fake layers like that. So then it holds better. But we'll do that first. So now, that's her hair there. So see how this hair is actually still like longer than that hair that I've just put on. So now that we've kind of built up the baseline already, now we want to use the next section for hold, like for body. Body meaning we want a lot of like curls up here as well, right? So we don't need to put it closely like next to the bottom one because we've done what we want to do. This is why I say ask why. Because if you just see what I'm doing, then you think, okay, the first two has to be very close and then the next one has to be far apart. But why? You know, if the baseline is not like full yet, you still have to stack it on top again. But the baseline's okay now. And here there's just a lot of like length. So we want to make it look more full. So we'll put it at the top. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, people online? Type 1 if it makes sense. Okay, so now we're going to do the crown area. Use like this, and I just go like that. Okay, so 3 clips, know exactly where I want it. And then I'll just do this. Make sure it matches. What do I do now? What's first? Tease. By the way, this is my favorite teasing comb, but for this, it's better if you use like something like thicker ones, like maybe Wise Park or like KYK or Wise Park one, because the thicker ones allows you to tease faster. So you can do this like maybe 4 or 5 times, but you might have to push this in like 10 times to get like the same amount of like density. But I don't like using this teasing brush so much when I'm doing like a big section, because this for some reason gives a lot of static in the hair. So I purely use it just for like applying hair extensions. Yeah, I like this.
Yes.
Sorry,
There's the tiniest.
a very small one.
Yeah.
Like
Because the space is very small, so it's quite consistent.
yeah, it's more like one of these ones, right?
Finer.
Yeah, but it's like it's not a teasing comb, it's a tail comb, right? I like the one with the line inside, like the zigzag inside. And so if you look at page 1, I think page 1 or page 2, it has like the teasing comb. I have a lot of different images in there, and it tells you like which one I recommend, because there's so many different types. Some of them has like no zigzag, some of them has too many zigzag. But the one that I think works best is like the one that's like half of it has a little bit of a zigzag and very sparse. Like, I mean, like a little bit far apart, not too close. And yeah. So have a look at the picture, analyze it. Because not all teasing comb are the same. You know, sometimes teasing combs like have such like wide teeth, it doesn't even like help. Online, okay, cool. Any questions so far? How long does it take for you guys to do Hollywood waves? A long time, someone said?
Yeah.
How long is a long time? That's not long.
I think more.
I always allow, to be honest, I allow about an hour and a half, because the curling and applying hair extension doesn't take long. It's the perfecting like the detail at the end that takes the longest amount of time, usually an hour and 15 minutes. But an hour and a half always for like the bride. But if it's like a bridesmaid, you just allow an hour and you work really fast because there's like no time. So now, what do I do next? So take a little bit, and always take a little bit further away from here. Otherwise, if you take it from here, then you'll still see the edge. So I always take a little bit further up, like a little bit further from the line of the hair extension. Oh my gosh, caught. Sorry, girl. And then pick this up. I spray quite a lot, by the way. But have you used this one? Like you first use it, it comes out. So much comes out. You're like, whoa, it looks so crazy. Okay, so now you just kind of go in like that. Okay, so that's done. So for me, that's fine. And then in terms of volume, I tease as I go. I don't tease it beforehand. So now we're going to brush it and we're going to start curling. Oh my gosh, it feels so, it's a lot of hair. When I feel like it's a lot of hair, I'm like, wow, it's going to take a long time to curl. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. Like, look at this, guys. I think I applied too much hair extension, but that's okay. It's going to look really amazing. That's the main thing. Do you want to stand up for me for a second? Yeah. I'm just going to trim. I stand over here. Okay, I'm going to trim the baseline. Can someone get on? Yeah. Okay. So maybe like, okay, maybe grab my mirror. grab my mirror and do this. Okay. I don't want to do it on. Do people cut hair even though you're not hairdressers when you do hair? Are you scared?
Yeah.
Really?
I kind of do one.
Yeah.
I want to cut.
Yeah, you have to. Like, you're not a hairdresser, but you know you need a cut, right? Is that what you mean?
I am a hairdresser as well.
Oh, you okay?
Yeah, but not anymore. But I feel like if I don't cut it, it looks so bad.
Yeah.
So I tell everyone, even face shaping at the front.
Mm-hmm.
Do you cut their real hair as well?
Because she said it's okay.
You should
Yeah. So when I cut like this, like for people who are not hairdressers, can you please not be scared, because like you're literally cutting the hair extensions and a bit of their dead ends, the split ends. Don't worry. So you cut this and then you just go in like this, guys. Cut into the line. So you just, okay. I think I did it uneven because I'm on the side, but that's okay. So you see how it looks like super straight right now? You don't want it to look like that. You want it to look like really soft. So you just want to, this is called point cutting for like people who are hairdressers, to make it look like soft.
So do you trim after you curl as well, or before?
Always before, because once you curl, you don't even know where the even lines are. So you have to do this first, and then afterwards you can do more. Yeah. And then like even now when she sits down, I might even like trim the front as well, because when the hair is like this, when it comes to the front, it will have a bit of an angle. So you also need to, usually you need to actually round it off a little bit like this. Like a U shape actually gives you like the flat baseline. Can you please not get scared? Nobody knows that you can't cut hair. Only you tell yourself that you can't.
And so if I never cut hair
Uh-huh.
I didn't make that.
Yeah, so you just get like the normal scissors, like the barber scissors that they give you in the kit, like the men's hairdressing kit, because these are like $1,000.
Yeah.
And it's not necessary for you unless you're a hairdresser, right? So you just get normal scissors. That should work just fine. And what I would ask you to do is pretend that the hair extension is the client. So you hang up the hair extension just like, oh my gosh, we'll make sure we'll get it off. You just pretend the hair extension on here is the client. And then you just trim the baseline. You're like, hey, I'm going to trim your hair. Is that okay? And practice. That's all. And then if it looks nice and even, then it's like not so flat, but it's like a little bit like choppy and still a straight line, you know, like you're good, just sweet. But then you never tell them, oh, I'm not a hairdresser. You say, actually, can I please trim the base to get rid of your dead ends? I'm just going to take up a little bit. And they'll be like, yeah, sure, why not? Okay, so sit down. Oh my gosh. Jules, can you please help me make sure there's like no hair left on the dress? Okay, grab a seat. Okay, and then we'll tuck that in. Where? In here. It's like, I want the dress that doesn't have a, it's like, then it's not a bridal dress. Like it has to be a bit long. Okay. See how if I bring it forward now, it's going to be on a bit of an angle. But that's okay, because we can do that later on. See how like there's always an angle there? Or, I think, yeah, fine. Like you can help. So see how it's a little bit. Yeah, I know. But that's okay. Okay, all good? Yeah, I'll just leave it for now. And once we curl, we can always get the ends out. Yep, perfect. That's fine. Okay, so what tool are we using? Which tong? Why? Because the 25 didn't work. That's a simple answer. I like to clean as I go. It's like cleaner. Doesn't always work, but helps. Okay, so at the back, how many rows do we take? 3 sections. What, a vertical or horizontal? So when we have hair extensions on, this is what I do. I don't take a straight line. I do something called a finger dance. So 2 fingers, and then I do this. I do that because I want to mix her real hair with her hair extension, but not like getting it exactly where it is. I want to mix a little bit of hair. It's like a zigzag. You're trying to create that zigzag without doing the zigzag. So you're just doing this like that. Does that make sense? Now you can see like some hair has hair extension, some hair doesn't. Like that's fine to have a little bit of like a zigzag shape. So that's fine there. Does that make sense? Do you want to move forward for me a little bit, hon? Yes. A little bit forward. Yeah, just such a heavy chair. So this is going to be lengthy, like amount of time. So ask anything that you want to ask. So vertical. I always use my pinky. When you're curling, don't do this. Don't do this. Straight. Keep it straight. You can do it like this, or you can do it like that. But whatever angle you hold, you must keep it exactly the same, because my angle may be a little bit different from yours. So my angle may be like, right, like slightly kind of right, and I don't know, slightly in like a V shape. But for you, you may do this because it's your natural hand position. So you got to do what works for you, but consistent all the way through. Does it make sense? But always vertical, because if you don't do it properly, can you see how this one curls first and that curls later on? So the trick here is to always make sure whatever you do, that the hair that's at the front here and the hairs at the back has to curl at the same distance. Yes, of course. Like if you look, do this, do you see which one has more curls? Here.
Yeah.
Than that. Then that's going to give you like a curvy, bendy Hollywood wave, not like a consistent straight ones. So I always do straight. Okay, I want to make sure. So this is what I do in the salon. Sometimes I wrap it around my wrist so that it doesn't get in the way. So away from the side that has more hair, right? So like this side, we're going this way. So we're going to wrap that way. It's going to be a lot of curling, girls. So bear with me. So it always has to be straight because that's what I want, okay? And now you drop it, and when you drop, you just kind of let it cool a little bit and then let go. Now, I always get asked as well is like, do you comb it as you go, or do you curl everything and then you comb it out? It really depends. If you feel like the hair is fine, then you want to maybe just do it every second row. It's kind of, this one's locked. So maybe I might do 2 rows and then I brush it out. But I tend to brush it out as I go, just so I know like what the shape looks like. So this is flat wrap. See how sometimes the ends look like this? A good way to fix it is not to do it all over again. You just go in wherever the dip is, the dip that touches the back, you go in and then you hold up here and then you just twist it down to fix it. Oh, sorry, darling. What is that getting? Can I stand on here? Because I feel like it's closer to, oh, actually the power point's over there too. Maybe I'll just put it here so I can stand this side. When you do Hollywood waves, like people who struggle with Hollywood waves, what do you struggle with? Does anybody, or you guys do very nice Hollywood waves?
Yeah.
What is it?
We struggle with everything.
What do you mean?
Just so many components, like the time, the length.
Are you overwhelmed already? I hope not. Are you? No. Are you? How's your mind? Because you're a makeup artist. So I know it's new.
Yeah, right. It all makes sense. It's about like
Yeah,
Doing it.
doing
Yeah.
it. That's what I'm.
Does anybody have any questions online? What do you do if the hair is too long and it doesn't all fit in the iron at one time? That's why I tell you to get the U-shell, because it will fit. But if it's like, say, you know, the hair is like up to the knee, I've done that before. My gosh, you got to do it like in two. You have to, but then you got to tell them you're not going to get the reference, okay? Because you're going to get curls down here, and here it's going to be quite straight. Like, how do you expect like hair up to like knee, the bum here, get like everything?
Are you looking for under natural hair? Do you recommend them having a flat or like a layers?
Layers. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it gives them more body and volume. If it's all blunt, it looks good on the base.
Yeah.
But there's like no layers for it to have like lift and body. I always say you got to have long layers. That's how you get that like beautiful like rounded hair. Otherwise, it's mainly very flat like that.
Do you mean a layer at the baseline?
No, the layers like as in not the baseline. Like layers are hair in different lengths.
Yeah.
So baseline is just like where the base is. So you need to have layers from maybe like your shoulders down, long layers.
But if you ask the hairdresser to layer your hair, especially like the whole hair, they usually dip it so thin at the base that we have to.
So you got to tell them that. So it just depends on how they hold the hair, right? So you just got to tell them, I want my base to be very thick, but I just want a little bit of layers just so I have movement in my hair. So it's just about you instructing your client. But if the reason, like if the baseline is thin, it's probably because the hair is very long and they're doing very short layers, because you got to match like the shortest layer to the longest length. And if the distance is very far, then obviously the base will be thin. Does that make sense or not really? At this point here, we're going to use a wire tooth comb to brush it out. I don't use, so what I like to use is a tangle teaser. The tangle teaser is really great, but if you brush this with a tangle teaser, you're going to apply too much pressure onto the waves and it's going to break up the curls too much. So you're going to use something that's a little bit more less like friction to break this up before you use something a lot more deep. Does that make sense? So you can use KYK wire tooth comb, you can use wire spark, whatever it is that is like wider. So I would go in like this. So I will always hold at the base. This here. So once that's there, then I'll go in with this and I want to see the shape like that. Okay. And so now that I see the shape, I'm going to tease for body. What teasing is that? So make sure you understand that. So what is teasing for invisible body? So actually this is teasing for blending and teasing for invisible body at the same time, because right now, see how it's separated? We need to blend it. We don't want any gaps. And also we want the body as well. So what I do is I just kind of put a bit of volume powder at the roots here, not here, because if you put it here now, it's going to make it so stiff and like staticky and too much like product on there. So you go in with a normal teasing comb. I like to just comb it out like that there. And I like to stretch it out a little bit. And I like to sort of use this. This is for body. When you do teasing for body, you use the end of the fork. Because it's invisible, you can't tell that you've teased it, but it gives you like more like body. This is teasing for blending. When you go underneath and the teeth of the comb only halfway goes through the hair, like this. That's teasing to blend. This is teasing for body. Teasing for body is to create width. Teasing for blending is to reduce gaps. So now all I'm doing is I just want to see how the shape looks like. I'm not trying to make it perfect yet. I just want to see the shape and then I just stack it on top of each other. So like I said, with fine hair, what you want to do is you just want to maybe do this every second row, like maybe do this and then do the next one and then brush it out, because you just want this to kind of set a little bit. So like for now, this is fine. So the next thing, what technique am I using with my fingers? What do you call this? Finger dance. Finger dance. So yeah, I don't take straight sections just because I want it to blend really well. So here I need to come down. Sorry, my love. So usually the first section is to like the bottom of the ear. The second section is up to about like the top of the ear. And then you have this back section here. You could also divide the side into two. So usually on this side you do one. This side has more hair, so you do into two sections, 2 rows. And this side you do one. Does it make sense? Because this side has more hair. Okay, so.
You got a question. We use different.
Hang on, so
Ready?
do we need, yeah, go on.
Questions on that.
Do you use different tangle teaser depending on the hair? They have thick and curly or whatever else it is, or just standard one? Yeah, just a standard one, because it's all the same like design, it's just in a different shape. So either this, I also have like a very, very tiny like pocket one. You could also use that. There's one that's like, it looks like a teardrop with like the hand. It's like a wet brush in the shower. You could also use that as well, whatever works. But the reason I like using it is because number one, it detangles and it also smooths out the hair. If you use just like a normal teasing comb here, sometimes it gets stuck and then it breaks up your curls and it kind of destroy like where the level is. And then if you use this, then the hair splits because you're like combing it through and you can see split in the hair. And then if you use this, it gets too much static because this has a lot of nylon, a lot of bristles. So it gives it a lot of static. So I think this is a very good option, like good in between. So now we're going to curl. Where's my curling top? Over there. Hello. Okay. Any question? Any other questions? Who wants to do this for me? who wants and not be scared, because then actually it's a good practice because I can correct you. If you're scared, you're missing out. Huh?
Well, there's a question.
Yes. Louder. So there's a question mark.
Just gonna ask, but you don't use any hairspray at any point yet?
No. I don't like setting with hairspray. If it's very fine, you could, but I don't. Because there, for example, if you have hairspray, weighs down the hair, and hard to manipulate the hair again. If, say, for example, like mark in the hair, you know, sometimes like you might give you like a little dent, whatever else it is. So I to do that. Also, people also ask about like, do you use that stuff? I don't mean that because I read the ingredients and there's really nothing that tells me that it's going to help. Like it's just right, but protect the hair if the heat still comes, because the only way the hair structure changes is if it feels the heat and the heat gets inside the hair. So it's just a cosmetic thing that just makes it look shinier. So I don't need that. I'll use it if the client wants to feel better about it. So I'll just put it on there. But I don't use any prepping product. Honestly, if I could, I would just have a tangle teaser, backing fork comb, hairspray, and rolling powder. That's it. I'll tell you a story. A while ago, I had a wedding, and on that day, she wanted Hollywood waves, and I forgot my hairspray at home. And so, like, how do you do Hollywood waves with no hairspray? And so I had to so I was finishing things quite early. So I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna go grab some stuff. Okay, like go. So crap. So it kind of made it wet looking and separates. At the end, it worked. And so that day about how that is on your product and 20% is on your steel. Now your steel will take over and you can use very crappy product to still get. It's all about practicing and understanding what it does and knowing that like if you understand what hairspray is supposed to do, then you don't use hairspray the same. Because if I use that wet hair, like that hairspray that was very wet and very heavy, the same way as I used Ulcers, then this will be like not working well. So I have to kind of manipulate it in a way that, okay, maybe hold it a little bit further, or spray underneath to show the wetness underneath, not the top, because it still holds, but it doesn't show off like that shiny, super shiny effect. So that's why I say whenever you do something, you got to always ask why. Why are you doing that? And so asking why will help you to be able to really troubleshoot any hairstyle you have. Yes, question.
Do you prefer a certain temperature on your tongue?
I like for Hollywood waves, I just go straight to 210 because it heats like faster. It's just like 190 is okay. Like 190 is good for like straightening hair. It is 2 for straightening, but curling, because there's a lot you need. I like.
I have this have heat because you know how they travel down and sometimes because of the technology.
Yeah, well, I've been using this for quite a while now. Like, so I like this. It hasn't given me any issue. So, but I do know what you mean, because there's certain tongs that I've used that only heats up like maybe in the middle and not the end. So this one's fine for me. Honestly, this is one of the secret weapon, and it's so cheap. It's like $40 on AliExpress. I wish people make it more. Yes. Okay.
It's just your transmitter here.
Yeah, sure. Do I need to?
Come here now.
Yep.
Want me to continue?
Yes, Shelley. Yes, Shelley, can you go? Shelley does such beautiful. The person I've known the longest would probably be you, Lydia. Hey, I don't know. I feel like we met each other even before I did bridal. Like I was like a brand new hairdresser, brand new hairdresser, trying to, become one of those editorial hairstylists one day, doing all the fashion week, and then I became a bridal hairstylist, which is still amazing.
Hey, Cara, I've got
Yes.
a question. So I noticed that because you mentioned that you have to hold the hair ton vertically. Does it matter if you hold it upwards or down? Or it doesn't matter as long as it's vertical.
It's easier to put the hair in if you hold it up.
Right.
If you put it down, you got to do this. It takes forever, and then you're gonna lose like, where it is. So always try to do elbow up. Unless you do the other direction, then you do like down, because you can't do elbow up. It depends on if you're right-handed or left-handed.
I have another question.
Yes.
I can see that you're still curling like in the same direction the entire way around. When you get to this side of the face, do you still do it like towards the face, or do you do one?
All towards. This is the classic Hollywood wave, so everything will be towards. Later, I'm going to show you the effortless wave, which is, I think, find the one with like brown hair. Is that the next page? Like the one with like, it's called effortless Hollywood waves. No, the next one. It's on page whatever else. Yeah, the very last one. That one. It's Hollywood waves too, but it's actually away like from both sides.
But does this one affect like face framing in terms of like, how like brides want to kind of open up their
Well, if they want it to be opening, like this style would not suit those that want to kind of frame their face too much. Like their face has to be very slim, because this will be all exposed.
Yeah.
So if they want that look, then they'll go for that middle part glam.
Okay.
Soft wave. What do we do now, girls? So hold at the top, comes through. And then what do you do? Huh? Louder? I feel like you guys are scared to say like the right answer. What's the answer? Tangle brush or whatever it is. Okay, so this is fine for me. Like, I don't think I need to, because what I don't underneath. So Now we're going to tease, but you don't really need to add volume powder in if you don't feel like you need to, because volume powder here is just to kind of make it fluffy and give it some volume. But the volume here, nothing here is going to affect the volume. Do you understand what volume and texture means? Volume is the height, texture is the width. Volume won't work here. No matter what volume you give, it's going to give you body, which is width, not volume. Volume is up here. Okay, so there's no point of creating volume here. There's only a point of creating texture here, which is teasing for body and teasing to blend. So you could separate like that. And all I'm doing is just to kind of show myself where the waves are. I may take the whole thing. I could even just use this here. I just want to blend it together, see how it looks like. That's fine. Okay, so next one. Just want to make sure. Okay, so I'm going to do this side, which is the side with less hair. Which direction are we curling? Towards or away from the face? Why? Oh, that's the look, because we're going away from the side that has more hair. So that's fine. So now another thing that I want you to remember as well is the traditional way of doing Hollywood waves is they start from the base. They'll curl from the base and you see the Hollywood waves sitting here like that. But you notice all the modern Hollywood waves that people are asking for, it starts below, like around about here or the neck. The mistake that I see is people forget and just go on autopilot and just keep curling from here. And you get like this is like very 2020, 2021. Now they like it, you know, more like down and then like here. Okay, so don't go too high. Okay, please. And if it goes too high, you notice here, it will like go in here and then you get like this curl that sticks out like that. It's nice, but it's not modern. Now, like people love it softer. Okay, so when I do this, what I'll do is I'll still curl it, but I'll make sure I don't go like so close. I'll go down, the section comes down this way, and I'll just make sure it stays from the ear down. And so what I do is see how the first section here is from the ear, and then I sort of like go around about here, kind of keep it low, just from the ear down. Because when you start curling at the ear, the curl actually starts from like the jawline, because this is the start of the bend, but when you brush it out, the curl actually starts here. So wherever you want the curl to start, you got to go a little higher. That's where you put your tongue. Any questions online? You know, this is my husband. Cara's audio has been dropping out. And so anyways, it's fine. If it's making sense, you can type 1. If anyone wants to ask anything online, you can let us know and we can unmute you. I actually really dislike silence, like when there's a group of people. So I'm like, yes, I want people to talk. Yes, talk.
Do you always have assistant with you?
No.
When you go to work?
I only have an assistant if I have 6 or 7 plus people, because if timing allows, I prefer to do everything myself. If timing doesn't allow, like as in if they need to start really, like they need to finish really early and we need to start early, then we don't want them to wake up at like 1 or 2, so we'll have someone. But when someone comes with me, they will curl and then I will finish. Why do you ask?
I'm just thinking, because there's a lot of, tidy up in between. Also, this curling, if we can train someone up.
Yeah, like curling is quite easy to do. The hard part is actually the finishing part, like, the teasing, the blending, the creating volume, understanding like the sectioning and all that stuff. If you can get someone to curl really well, it's great. But if someone curls and goes in the wrong angle and like talk to the client too much or like forget what they're doing, you'll see like, like, and then you can't fix it. You can't fix it. What do you do? Once you brush it out, you cannot fix.
I'm at the point where I'm like, can't find someone that do what I do. You literally clone yourself.
It is.
Like getting really, really good at curls.
I have a question regarding the assistant. I have so many like 9+ inquiries.
Oh my God,
And
yes.
finding an assistant is really hard.
Yes.
What do you, I know this sensitive topic, money,
How
what
much?
do you charge? Because I'm getting quotes like they want like $150 an hour. And I'm like, I don't know if that's normal.
Okay, so I'll tell you how much I pay. Like, you know, I pay about $300. So $250 plus $300. And it just depends. If they are assisting me, helping me with my kit, prepping hair, then I pay them an assisted rate, just for like $250, $300, sometimes $400, sometimes $450, depending on like where it is and the experience, right? So for example, if Shelly assists me, I pay her $450 because I know she has kids and it's a sacrifice for her. So then I got to make it worth her while. You know, sometimes it could be like 3 people only to just prepare 3 people. I might do $250. But generally it's about $300, right? And you can include or exclude travel. But if you ask them to do a full hairstyle, you have to ask them how much they want. And then you could always like negotiate, because you always want them to get like their own price minus 20 to 30%, because you got the lead for them. So if they charge like $150, then you can pay them $100 per person. But if they're only assisting you, like, are you talking about hair or makeup? Yeah, if they're just assisting you and you're training them up, then it's like a win-win, because they get to see you work and they also get to learn when you critique them or like give them feedback. So I would say, you know, $250 to $300 for like a wedding is good. But if it's like 9 people, meaning they might have to prep like 4 or 5, you could charge, like, you could pay $350. Yeah. So like how I'm going to be very transparent. When I charge my client, I charge everyone what I charge. So like, say if it's 1 bride, 5 bridesmaids, I charge the bride, I charge 5 bridesmaids. And then if it's 6+ people, the clause is if there's 6 or more people that needs to get their hair done and they need to finish at a certain time, and I can't do all on my own because they don't want to start early, then an assistant fee is added. So that assistant fee is added on top. So you wouldn't just pay it out of your own pocket, because this is their choice. Because you could do everything yourself, but they don't want to because they can't have the time. So this is their choice to want you to bring someone. Does that make sense? So then you get them to pay for that. Yeah.
Is there a time after you brush out the hair, you feel like you lose the curl completely and then you kind of freak out and think about what to do? Because sometimes when you brush it out, it seems like the curl has disappeared, but once you kind of work around with it, the curls kind of reappear again. Does it make sense? So is there a time that you don't know whether you should continue working or recurl it because you're afraid that the curl has disappeared?
Well, I sort of understand your question, but it applies for when I'm more like inexperienced. Like back in the days when I didn't really know how to do hair, I just assume, okay, you got to set the hair and it will be really beautiful. But now from experience, just by touching, I know what hair extensions I need, what tong I need. So I'm not worried about the fact that it won't curl. Does that make sense? If it comes out and like the hair doesn't hold, which is mainly for like, I call it hair that does not hold curls, because it's either very, very long, very fine, and they want Hollywood waves or like textured waves. So there's a lesson on Hair Boss. I think the lesson is called how to curl hair that does not hold. And that particular model, like I made her hair very like textured, but honestly, once I brushed it, it went all straight. So it's all about manipulation. It's about curling it, but not brushing through. So I would not brush through a lot. So I would brush it very gently with like a wide tooth comb, and then I tease the base of it to kind of maintain the shape. But if I go in with a tangle teaser and comb it through, then you're going to lose all of the curls. So you got to kind of fake it in a way. You got to get a bit of like the tail comb, pull the hair forward to kind of manipulate it into this rounded shape. Does that make sense? Yeah. So for some hair that does not hold, you got to manipulate it. That's just what it is. And the hair has to be stiff.
And even for like her
And her hair is not really fine or difficult to hold curls, but when I see you brush it out, like from my eyes, I was like starting to, like if I was myself, I would start to kind of freak. Yeah, it was like the shape has like started to, lose its structure, and then I was like, should I wait or should I do?
But that's the look that I'm actually going for. Like you see, it looks like that now, but once this comes on, like you see it kind of bounce up a bit more. You don't like if you want that very deep look, you do twist wrap. You wouldn't do this technique. But I'm showing you like that Hollywood waist that like, I mean, I gave you that picture, but that's not a really good representation. That's more like a twist wrap. But I couldn't really find a picture of a bride with a front on of a Hollywood wave that looked pretty only at the trial, but she doesn't have makeup. It doesn't look good on the booklet. So I'm like, let's just choose something for reference, So, but you know what? I'll tell you a mistake that I've done. Can you guys pick up what I've done wrong or like what I might have done wrong? People online, do you separate the hair first before curling when they want it sitting at the front? No, I'll tell you about a bit later on like how much percentage to put at the front. I curl everything first and then I will position it at the front later on. So the mistake was that I got sidetracked by asking you guys questions and talking to you, and I went too high. You remember I said that, supposed to go from like ears, and I'm like, what the heck? Like I was like on autopilot, but it's still gonna look good. You can still fix it by like you can smooth that out with a straightener, like from the top, but like from like my experience, I know how to fix this just by teasing more. When you tease more, you smooth out the surface of the hair and you make the curl start lower. But if you leave it as is, then the curl looks like it's starting up here. So yeah, so that's something that I told you not to do and I did, right? I said, don't talk to the client, get sidetracked, and then like you do the curls all wrong and then I do that. Yeah, so focus, Cara, focus. Stop getting sidetracked.
I had another question if you don't mind getting sidetracked again.
Okay. Focus. Yeah, go on.
I know now you're quite established like with your Instagram, so people who come to you, I'm guessing with your no?
Oh, no, go on.
People who come to you, like your brides now, come to you for your like specific looks. Have you in the past gotten or still now like unrealistic photos, or not even unrealistic, like photos of hair that's just not you or that you can't do?
So now people don't really come to me with hair that is crazy. This happens more when I first started. I remember one time, this is like the worst wedding that I've ever done, because she was a very last minute bride and I was like, oh, it's extra money, the wedding's soon. But that was the biggest mistake ever, because when someone is booking you last minute, it's a red flag. It's like, and you don't want to ask them, oh, so why are you leaving it till last minute? Because they could lie. They could say, my stylist canceled on me. But what if they cancel on the stylist? Because they're so picky. And so she already made me feel really uncomfortable. But then I was like, oh, let's just do it because it's extra money. And then at the trial, I was like, oh no, what did I get myself into? It was a style that is so not me. It was like, she gave Khloe Kardashian hairstyle that was like a ponytail, half up. No, a ponytail, but it sits up here, like not here, up here. And it has to be wrapped very thick and very tall. And her face can't pull it off. Her face is just like, you look at someone and you're like, that hairstyle does not suit you. And I'm like, I do not want to put my name to this work. I do not want to pose, but I'm like, okay, I'll give you what you want. And I'm like, wow, that's exactly like, I mean, on a beautiful model, okay, it works, right? But no, not on that bride. So yes, I've gotten, or like even sometimes I get like hair references back in the days when Juliana hairstyle was really in, and they give me like the Russian hairstyle that just takes like 5 hours to do. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. And it's like not realistic. And I also in 2018, when I started in 2017, but in 2018, I had so many requests of Tanya's hairstyle. And I was like, I don't know how to do this. So yes, of course I freaked. But yeah, I did trials. They didn't book me. And I'm like, I gotta learn. So that's when I went to Russia. That's history now. But yes, so yes, I have had that before, but now not so much because now once you kind of know how to do certain hairstyles and understand a lot of the why, you can break down any hairstyle. It's all about reading the lines. Like if you see a bun having this many sections, you know that's how many sections you got to pin in, or maybe like a slick bun. You can do it in so many different ways. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Okay, so what do we do now? So at this point here, we could actually just use this because you know how this part of the hair here is quite fine. I could comb it through, it should be okay. But here I wouldn't use this teasing comb. And then what I would do is just kind of tease the base of it a little bit just to see where the wave sits. So to you, you might see that this is very soft, but actually this is what's beautiful, like soft like this rather than like too bouncy. But you can also make it even bigger later on.
No, I like it soft, but what I'm saying is when I see when it's brushed out,
I have doubt in myself, maybe that is too flat and it's going to go straight, but
That's why you have to test the tool. You test whether it's a 90 mil or 25 mil. Some people don't test and they curl everything and they brush and they're like, that's too late now. You have to do everything all over again. That's why you test. Like I still test for every single client. So it's not like it's a guessing game. Even if I know, I will still test because I want to make sure, because I don't want to waste my time doing everything or like doing the whole row. That already takes like 4 minutes. Like that's my time, you know? So I would just test and then you'll know if it holds or not. So like from here, I could see if it holds. So I'm just gonna wish myself luck and hopefully this hairstyle turns out okay because I sort of did a little bit higher than what I wanted, but it still should be fine. Yes.
That right side there, when you straighten it toward the end, do you
Yeah.
worry about it?
Yeah, wait.
So see how that curls this back? Yeah. So
Yeah.
then now it's okay.
Oh, yeah.
When you start curling out because it's finer.
Yeah, you know what? Like if it's one strand, if it's straight, I recurl it. If it's like that, I wouldn't worry because I know when I tease, I could kind of bend it back into place. So I mean, I could do it now just because you say it. So I will fix it just for you.
That's often what I found. Sometimes because different texture.
Yeah, holds it differently. Okay. And that's actually the hair extension piece in there. So anyways, yes.
hair extensions on the front.
Yes, I would, but because this is the side that like her hair's quite thick here, I would normally put it if I feel like she needs it, but actually she doesn't because it's quite full. I would normally, yes, but this is okay. So if I did do it, then I would put maybe like a 2-piece and I would do it like this and push it forward. So then it kind of creates layers in her face. But this has so much hair already, so I would skip. And this side, never, because this is the flat side, so don't ever put anything there. So anyway, guys, I'm going to work. Am I like, I hope I'm running on time. Little bit? What do you mean little bit on time? What does that mean? When is my next one?
She's ready now.
Okay. Too much talking. It's all right. Feels fixable. So good.
The first model takes 4 minutes. You're all good.
But you know, I don't really like to kind of leave this and then like start and then come back to this because I feel like I'm in the flow for this now. I'm not too worried. I think the next one is so easy. I mean, I laugh for an hour and 20 minutes. Actually, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, actually, this is long, but don't worry.
Yeah, no,
I'm gonna make you look so hot. Okay, I'm ready. Okay, can you turn around, face the front? Okay, so with the front here, yes. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to section out the fringe area. I will do the fringe last, always a triangle section, top of the arch of the brow, and then straight up. And this section here, chin down for me, this here is on top of the ear. So where the start of the ear is, you go a line up. That's the line where you take your fringe section. See how, look this way. See, this is top of the ear. If you do there, that's too big. So you do the start of the ear, which is here, and then it meets around about there. Does that make sense? So that's her fringe. Do not do like a massive one like that, just like a little one. Like, so this is a triangle section, like that there, and then I pin it like this. Actually, tiny little pin. Styling girl, do you mind opening that for me?
I don't mind.
So I always do the fringe last. What color do you want? I'll choose
Pink.
pink.
Yeah.
Any question online? Okay, no questions so far. Okay, so now let's continue to curl. I only have a little bit left. Oh, I didn't even turn it on. Silly me. I've just wasted a little bit more time, but that's okay. So I curl everything first, and then I would separate the hair and then dress it up. So when I do the front here, I like to sort of start around about the eyebrow. But you see how I told you, wherever you want the curls to start, you've got to go up a bit higher. So I start mid of the brow here, but then the curl actually starts from the eyebrow. And here you could go like down this way like that as well. So when I do the reception hair, you have to work so fast because hair and makeup has to be done together, and they have like half an hour, 45 minutes. So it's like crazy, like just more unstructured in the way I section or whatever, but it still works, you know. The more you do it, the better. Like, you know, reception before their reception dinner, they have like a second look. Okay, I'm just gonna do my thing. You guys shout out if you need, if you have any questions you want to ask. I already know from my eye that this side would be a little bit high because you know how I said to you, like I was like on autopilot, so I curled up higher, but it's okay, don't worry. So here's the rule of thumb. At the back here, you divide into the middle. This is the middle, 50-50%, right? You want to do the side with more hair, 60%, and the side with little hair, like less hair, 40%. That's the rule. So you can divide in half, find the middle, and take a little bit more. Okay? So then that's how much you put at the front. That's how much you put at the back. Not half-half, because there's no point of having too much hair at the back. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to dress it towards the front. I'll always do the front first because the brides get more excited. And then when they're like loving themselves, they're like loving their look, they can like focus on that. And then I work on the back. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to dress the front. So I'm going to just turn this forward. Hi. Oh, sorry, darling. This is okay.
I have a lot of hair. Well,
you
more
do,
now.
and then more now. Okay. So I know in the lessons I teach in Hair Boss, like, you know how you evolve. Every year you find new techniques, you find new ways of doing things. I used to teach that every single row you like saturate with hairspray, you brush heaps. Now you do that too, but I like mine a little bit more like movable now. So I don't think I want to set every section with hairspray. But now at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to work for the front first. I'm just going to spray and brush. So why are we doing this? We're trying to give it shine and reduce flyaways, not for hold. Always think about reason, because if you understand the reason, you don't need the product to make it work. So if I don't have hairspray and I forgot it and I'm trying to defreeze it because it's flyaway and I want to give it shine, what could I use instead to give it shine and defreeze? Yeah, exactly. So that's why you need to understand why. A little bit, because if it's too wet, it will separate. Does that make sense? This is only if like you don't have it, but I'm trying to train your brain to understand like why. Okay, brush. Okay, and then now look straight. So now what we're going to do is never have curls like this. Never have curls like that. It's so skinny and it's not flattering. Always open up the waves. Always open up. So now this new teasing is called teasing to blend. We're going to hold it up like that. You're going to go from behind. I'm just going to bring you up higher. Okay, so I'm gonna hold the teasing from behind and I'm just gonna brush it up, up, up. You could also use this brush as well. So I'll show you. So hold from behind. So keep your head really straight for me, darling. Thank you. So detangle. When I say that, that's the Y, okay? Detangle. And then hold it and then start from a shoulder, brush up. Because you're trying to kind of create body and width in here. And see how that's black? I'm not worried because I can brush on top of it. And now you can see the flyaways, but that's fine because we can deal with that. Okay. You keep on going and keep brushing. Keep brushing. The reason why people's Hollywood waves don't look great sometimes is because they stop too soon. They freak out. They're like, oh, it's not blending, or this is curling out too much. It's not curling enough. Da, da, da. But the more you brush, the more it will come together. So you don't need to worry. So can I just use the mirror? I hope you guys can still see if I work in front of the mirror. Is that okay? So I can see how she looks like. So I'm gonna do the base. I'm gonna spread it out. So see how she has a curve here. So what I would do is go in with a volume powder because I've given it some hairspray, but you have seen that it sort of makes it shiny but separates at the same time. So now we're gonna bring back the texture and trying to net it together like a spider web. We're gonna spray in every single of these curve point. Here, here, and roughen it up like this. Use your fingers. You just want to do this, and it sort of opens up the face a bit more, even here. You can comb a little bit, not here, edge, because what you want is for it to kind of do this. You don't want it to sort of like be so stiff. This is what makes it beautiful. This is called like fanning out, okay? So now I'm going to work on the base. I'm going to join this together and we're going to tease the base. Okay, and then once we're sort of happy-ish, we hold it out. We hold wherever like the outer point is. Okay, turn around so people can see you. See how this one sits like that? I'm not too worried because you can actually get like a little tail comb and you can tuck it inside the hair, or you can straighten it out. This is faster. And then here, there's flyaways here. Smooth it. You could also use this. You could do that and then use the back of it so that your hand's not sticky. But not this. Oh, sorry. Not like the edge of the comb, because that's gonna like break out the, like, you know, the hair because it has layers. Or you can do this. I want to see first. See how there's the ends is a little bit curly-ish. I would trim this later on. But people freak out, but trust me, if you keep on combing, it'll come back into its shape, see? If you keep combing, it'll work. So now, I feel like I could even do more hair because there's so much hair left. So that's the front, and then we're going to just work on the back, and we're going to do the fringe last. The fringe is like the icing on the cake. Any questions so far? Oh no.
So what clothes would you recommend the brides to wear when you do that? Because when they wear the traditional clothes, but before they get into their white dress, right, I feel it creates a lot of statics. You just ask them to put into like a singlet or something.
No. I have them wear their robe because it's the wedding day. I don't want them to wear something else. I haven't seen it getting static or anything like that, so I'm not really worried about it. Actually, this is my first time using Pearly hairstylist. Okay, so thank you. But yes, if I'm using like doing hair on their clothes, I wouldn't like put a cape on because it's just their clothes. I wouldn't worry too much. But if it's the dress, yes. But some people, like, you know, one of the videos, I spray hair, the person's hair, and then, you know, like near the dress, I'm like, you're spraying on the dress. But you got to understand like the fabric material too. You don't spray, you can spray on cotton, but you don't spray on like, say, silk or like beading or lace. But you can spray on cotton, and the dress was cotton, but you know, it's just for you to understand. So around here, what you could do is you could add a bit of volume if you wanted to, if you really wanted to, but you don't need to. It just depends on what the client wants. So I'll just do 2 sections, and then I always like to tease a little bit because it gives you a natural look, and I don't tease for the root. I tease for a little bit of lift here because sometimes when you push it back, it's so flat that they're like, oh, can you just make it a little bit like fuller? But then it's not volume. It's actually just that the hair looks so flat that they don't like it. So we'll do this, and then we'll comb it out. So now what do we need to do? We need to defrizz. So when I comb it out, okay, so see how this looks a little bit soft? I'm not too worried about that. So when you spray, don't do this. You spray in strokes, like long, like think of a skewer, long, long. And wherever you spray, you comb there. Does it make sense? Because while it's kind of wet, you're going to manipulate that product on the hair. When you do this, you have no time to go and jump to different places. So I go like that. It looks very simple, but again, asking why, like, why am I doing this? Because I just want to clean the flyaways of the hair. This is why it looks shiny, because all I do is I just sort of pinpoint spray. This one's not curling well. Hey, I better recurl that. Actually, I'm not too worried. Let me see from the front. I could curl this a bit more. So what happened here? Maybe I was distracted again. Yeah. So. I think I should have allowed like 2 hours for this, but that's okay. You guys can have like half an hour lunch break, right? Instead of 40 minutes or less. So I want to know, in terms of your clientele, what's the ratio you're getting right now in terms of like updos or down hairstyle? Some people said half. What about online? Okay, so can someone read out the question for me, Ayan? Bianca?
On the day of a wedding, if you have bridesmaids with no hair extensions and hair that isn't ideal, but they want a Hollywood wave, do you usually try to talk them into something else?
No.
Set a really realistic expectation and do it anyways?
Yeah, I have to do it anyway because that's what the bride had chosen. So you do it and it won't look great, but you just have to do it, and you've got to tease the hell out of it to make it wide looking. So the best thing that, and I would talk about this at the trial or beforehand with the bride. So if the bride has maybe like a ponytail or like maybe a high bun, and maybe she has like lots and lots of bridesmaids, the go-to hairstyle I always tell a client is wavy hair with like the slick back, because it's so fast and it's like not in their face and they can move, and it's like fast for you and really efficient for them. So I kind of talk them into that. It's so nice, it suits every face, you know. But if you do Hollywood waves on every single client, oh my gosh, imagine that. Like, and then they'll move, they steam the dress for like the bride, it's frizzy, it separates. Oh Lord, not a good thing. Okay, so just look straight for me. What we're gonna do now, it's gonna work real quick. I'm gonna tease. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of cologne powder here. Yes.
How would you do the waves if they have shorter bangs? Or how would you incorporate shorter bangs into waves?
If it's short up to here, you can still do it. If it's like here, I would leave it out. So it has to be at least like maybe like, yeah, more like jawline at least, because you got to get the lift and you can't have it sticking out. So by the way, teasing for body, make sure you guys circle what teasing we've used. So you can use a little brush like that, tease, to get teasing for blending. And then I use this just to kind of figure out where the shape is. See how this is a little bit flat? Honestly, I'm short for time. And if it's on the day and I'm short for time, I wouldn't even care. I would just tuck it behind. It's hidden. It's done. This is a real life scenario, you know? We're like a bride. And like, we're like, oh, I gotta leave. Like, you know, my car's coming. Hey.
That's also the other question I was gonna ask. So the order of the day, right? Your bride will be last or second to last?
Usually I say second to last, but it never works out to be second to last because the makeup also wants the bride. And I prefer the makeup to be done first. So then I usually last. But preferably if it's like down hair, last because it's lasting for them. But if it's like an updo or whatever, I do it second last.
So you would never prep the hair for them not to make up
No.
and then finish?
No.
Okay.
Unless
It works better for makeup too, I think, if we do makeup first.
I get
yeah.
it. Yeah. That's, I don't know, sometimes I like. Yeah, I get after hair. And then I send them back if they need to touch up.
I like makeup first because when I film for content, they look good.
I film my content, I'm like, at least hair is done.
Yeah. So girls, this is like a really important part here. So see how that splits? You're gonna spray inside and under. Okay, and see how here it splits again? Just spray wherever it splits only, not everywhere. There's no point, okay? Now I'm gonna get you to sit up straight a little bit more just so I have more length. So the inside here, you're gonna tease wherever. See, that's where it splits. So you're gonna go in like that. You can use that technique. You can go from underneath like that. See how that one, don't worry, hide that. And in like for the back, you don't need it to look like super like in line. But see, did you see my mistake? I went too high. That's a mistake. Focus. Okay. So now let's spray it in. It still looks good. So I would always spray. So see how here it looks a bit sparse. So spray under. Now, really important thing is here. This is really important. This is what people forget. I know it's a very little thing, but it's really important, is the edge of the wave needs to sit out like a triangle. So the face has to be like here to the shoulder. So see how sometimes when people do Hollywood waves, they curl it and it just sits like that. But you need to kind of fan it out. So I would do this. Fan it out a little bit. And it makes it look like so much fuller. Like, and it makes her hair looks like it's like bigger. Like that's what you want. So it's just a little bit of something, but it actually makes a huge difference. And then see how this here is not like as deep because maybe we missed the curl or whatnot. You could just go in and then do this and just hold it in place. And it will just, ta-da. And then here it's a little bit messy. So just spray and part that. Don't make this messy because it doesn't look nice. Okay, always, this is really important, the base here, spray, because this is where it's like most prone to split. So you just want to keep it. But if you don't want it to be super stiff, then you can leave it a bit more free flowing, but then it will separate, it won't be nice. Okay, so now leave the best for last. So this section here, what we're going to do is we're going to curl it. So here's the rule. Not the rule. Here's what's important to remember. Do not always use this size for this section. Sometimes I will use everything here with 19 mil and I go in with the 25 mil here because the hair is so coarse that it just sucks in the curl. And if you create a 90 mil here, you can't get that beautiful lift because it's like so curly that it starts curling up here. Okay, so you would use like a 25 mil. So Now I'm guessing. I'm like, should I do it? So here's the thing. I could either plug in a 25 mil and then curl it in 2 sections, or I could just use this and take a thick section and hold it for less long and manipulate it in a way that it will cool in a 25 mil diameter. Does that make sense? So I will do the second because I don't have to plug things in. So really important, lift it up a little bit, pull it out forward and curl. Curl. So this is like a V from arrow down, like from the forehead. Okay. Actually, I wanted to show you something about prepping, but I didn't show you on this one, but I'll show you on like the other Hollywood wave, prepping like the fringe. So, okay, so that's done. So now what we're gonna do is divide this into 2 sections. This is hopefully the icing on the cake. So we're gonna spray it first, section it out. I'm gonna blow. Because I don't want to have to like put it on again. So now I'm going to hold up everything. This is teasing for tall fringe. I think it's like T3 or whatever. I can't remember. What is this? Ponytails are most popular hairstyle. Will you use 1-piece hair extension on the fringe? If the fringe is very fine, I would use like a 1-piece, but if it's not, then I would just leave it as this. But using hair extension on the fringe is really tricky because it's hard to get the lift, but you can still do it. So now what I'm going to do is hold it up real in the air like that and then tease it down. So I'm trying to create a triangle. Look in the diagram, you'll see that I'm trying to create like a triangle effect, and I'm going deep here, but I'm going to feather it out as I go. And the height that I'm doing has to be the height of the distance. Okay, so in the diagram, can I have the diagram up? Okay, so while you control. Okay, teasing for tall fringe, T3. Can you see the distance from A to B on the second diagram? Yeah, A to B in the face with the eye closed. A to B is the distance from here to there. And that's normally the height that people tease. They tease this much because they think, oh, they just need, actually, no, what I'm talking about is from A to C. C is the top. So they tease maybe this much, thinking that's how much they want for the teasing. But you need to tease from A to B. So that line of A to B is very tall. If you look at the first diagram, A to B is actually very, very tall, but A to C is very, very like much less. So you need to tease very, very high in order to get that hold for you to kind of lift. Okay. So you need to tease. And when I'm teasing only through halfway of my comb. I'm not going in like this because I don't want any teasing to show through. Does that make sense? If you have missed some, you could actually pick a few pieces out because maybe the fringe is too thick or whatnot. You can spray a little bit more here. And then you can tap it, and then you can kind of go in like that there. Okay. So I'm just going to go in again. So at this point here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold my hand underneath. This is very important. And then you're going to go in with a tangle teaser, or you can go in with like a very little bristle brush. You're going to go on and you're going to just touch the edge. Just touch the edge. Okay. And then you want to brush just the top here. Okay. You want to hold it up so you don't lose it. Okay. And then you want to brush it. So you want to brush it on and out, not down. Down is going to be like that, out. This has to be behind the section that we've done. Okay, so now I need to work in front of the mirror. I need to see what I'm doing. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to use a tail comb. Hopefully, see how here? Can you see how it's uneven? Mm-hmm. So you can kind of use this tail comb like this and lift it up just so it's even. Oh, there's like a cut in here. So you can do this. Okay, let's see. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just trying to get this. I feel like, see how it's very static? I don't know why. that comb is super static. Okay, I wish there was like, I hope you guys can see. Can you see, or is it hard to see? Okay, before, see how the fringe was out that way? It's not very flattering. What you want to do is you want to kind of hug it in. This one goes up, and then the side here goes in. Like if you do it like that, it's okay, but it shows her hairline too much. Does that make sense, girls? And actually, you know what? I would have liked for this fringe to be like even lower as well. But I'm showing you this because this is like the classic Hollywood waves. But what I prefer personally is like this fringe should start lower here. But we'll do that for the other Hollywood waves. Okay, so I'm going to hold it. So see how my hand, I always support it underneath and I spread it out like a fan. So I don't just kind of keep it like that. I spread it out, forward, spray, and then use this. And then now you put, like sometimes the client's hair would be longer and it's not a short fringe. So you just want to blend this in with the rest of the hair. Okay, I'm going to check the mirror again. So around here, we just want to spray it. And I'm going to just do it from here, okay? So there's like hairline. So for the front here, for time purpose, I'll just tell you, use a little spoolie to clean the little flyaways like around the baby hair. And then around here, always like, see how I told you, curve it in, but then always like lift it out. When you spray from underneath, and always like wherever that point is, this point, bring it out because it's more flattering. And back in the days, or maybe even still now, when people do Hollywood wave, it's very stiff. So in order to manipulate and give the illusion of a soft hairstyle, you've got to give it a little bit of a flyaway, like on purpose. So what you do is you don't want to make this look like so clean, right? What you do is you take out a little bit like this, a little bit like that, and you spray. And that makes it look like quite airy. You don't have to, but you can, right? You can make it a bit more airy looking like that rather than like so stuck down. So that's just something that you can do to manipulate it. Okay, so flyaways, bye-bye flyaways. Is there any question online? So here it has to be lifted up there. I was supposed to actually prep the front by blow drying a little bit, but I forgot. But I will show you later on with the other hairstyle because that will help the fringe to hold up like the hair direction to stay up better. But that's okay.
So from here, do you tell the bridesmaid or someone what to look for and how to maintain it for the bride?
You could. Yeah, so I would just say, make sure there's no spidery hair at the front. Make sure this hair here has to be, at the front of the hair, because when they move, there's like hair here. And make sure it splits right in the middle and there's no hair at the back. And please do everything for the bride. Don't let her go down like this. And I tell the bride, pretend you're a princess. Make sure your chin and your chest is in line. When you move and when someone calls you, you look with your shoulder. You don't go like this. I know that's a very hard thing. And then someone calls them, they're like this. I'm like, hey. And so they're like this all the time. But it is what it is. Like they want to maintain this look. But if they don't want to like have a stiff look, we'll do a different look. So before there was a little gap here, guys, like that. So you just go in with a little tail comb here. Teasing comb and like diffuse it, spray in. I also want to show you the last thing that you want to look for. So when you're looking at this, it's okay. But like the finishing touch of it is this part here. I don't know if you're going to see, but you probably will. So we're looking at the width here, okay? Point, the curve point. We pull. But there's one area that will give it like a very big voluminous look, which is this hair here. This hair we need to pull out. Actually, which side is it? I'm like confused. This hair. Yes, this hair on this side. See how if you pull this hair out, it looks much thicker than if you have it like here. Usually people just give it like waves and then brush it out, make it sleek, make a tall fringe. That's it. They don't pull this out, but then one thing that you need to pull is also here, this area here. So sometimes you would need to go back. I would go back and I would go in, I would just go very slightly and I go in and I tease like this. Just to kind of give it a bit more volume. Or I go in and I go like this. And this one, remember body, invisible body, to kind of bring it out. Let me see, look at the front. It makes it look a lot fuller if you do it like that. Does that make sense? Okay. So usually I probably spend a little bit more time on this, but for time, I'm going to spray and I'm going to take some pictures, okay? Any more questions, girls? And I would make sure that there's no flyaways. And we'll probably trim too, but for photos, we'll just tuck it in.
Like do a final spray with the yellow spray?
You would, but probably you probably do it just for the go, because you have to touch up. And when I touch up, I spend like 15 minutes brushing out everything, and then I re-tease the base. Because if you just spray on top, it's just crunchy. So you got to brush it out, remove the hairspray layer, and then you re-tease, reposition. So that's why I do them last. So then you don't have to like touch them up and stuff. Okay, I'm just gonna take this out because I think you're gonna look so pretty with this, and then I'll touch you up well. Let me see. So you do need a bit of time for this. I know I see like flyaways, but that's okay. Beautiful. So in terms of like finishing hairspray, I like the KYK hairspray, but I also like the yellow bottle got to be hairspray. So whatever works for you, you can use it. The KYK bottle, I prefer it sort of less-ish because it's so big and heavy. And when I put it in my touch-up kit, it's like really bulky. So it's good for like in salon, but when you're touching up, you just want to carry something like really lightweight. So it's like not pulling on your pants or like your styling belt. So remember this one, let's just hide it. If I had time, I would recurl, but no time. So we'll just skip. Also, you could use a toothbrush to get all of this little hair out of the way. Put on the earrings, girlfriend. Ta-da! There you go. Ta-da. And then we're going to take some photos. Could we set up Martin for the iPhone view? Thank you. Is that the right side? 11:30. Oh, you can't sit? Okay.
Do it
okay.
for me.
Okay. Is it the first hole or second hole?
The first.
Okay, first hole.
Definitely don't try the second, you won't get it.
Okay, done. Okay. Sorry, darling.
No, that's okay.
It's
Hard
not
to
like.
do other people's.
Okay, and then, okay. Oh, you look like a bride now. Okay, next one. You turn around so people can see us. Okay.
Now turn.
Okay, turn.
Final reveal.
Someone asked where would you place the veil?
Veil. I knew I would get that question. The veil, you would put it like on. If the model has the veil, you need to make sure that you have hair extension underneath to put it on, or you can tease underneath. So what I like to do is I use a 3-piece clip, hair extension clip. I clip only 2 sides and I don't clip the middle. Does that make sense? So then, for example, this is the distance. I tease all of it, like not like point, tease all of it. And then I clip on the ends, but the middle has just teasing. So the middle teasing helps the comb to go in and the clip helps to hold up the comb. Make sense? So then that will go there. All right, so are we ready for photos? Okay, so can I have the stool? Hi, can I have the stool? Shelly, who, where? Oh, actually, babe, can you grab me the white stool under that white table? And then I'll get you to sit on the stool. I'm gonna like cover this just for like some background, and then you can see how I take photos on the screen as well. So.
Where's my car though?
Okay. Just sit on here. Sit down. Yes. And then what I always do is I ask them to just sit and then I will move them. Always trying to create like an angle when you're taking photos. And so do this. Out there. Okay, for photos, you always like exaggerate a little bit because it's for photos. So you would like move things where you want it and stuff like that. I'm gonna put this light. Usually I never use this light, girls, because I don't have natural light here. We have to use a light just so it looks better. Okay, God. Okay. Uh-huh. Let me see. Okay, so Shelly, can you hold it for me? Go over there. Over there. Open your arms a bit more. We always want to create angles in the arm. So pretend that you have like a table here. Go higher. Just so you can open up your arms a bit more higher. Just pretend there's an invisible body. Invisible body. Yeah. Yeah. See, I'm not trying to get that, girls. I'm trying to get like this. I don't know if you can see. You can also see over there as well. So I'm trying to like get this. So a slight smile, look away. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Then shoulder forward. Look away. Look away. Okay. So see how this sticks out too much here, and this one doesn't stick out as much. I'm going to manipulate it so looks higher, like more brightness. Okay, so when you're taking photos, make sure it's in line with her eyes or her head. Don't do this and don't do this. Okay, I see a little bit of a gap here. I'm gonna fix that. Cover the shoulders. Looks bigger, fuller. Okay. Okay, turn this. So we do the side. Okay. Look to me a little bit less, more that way. So on this side here, I want to show off the way. No, I don't love this, but it's okay here. Okay, look at me straight on. Smile. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little video. When I do video, I always hold with 2 hands and I go very slow movement, and I don't like to do this. I like to go back and forth because it gives you like a better variation, like when you're doing cinematography, you know, like it looks more interesting. So I want you to relax, okay? And I want you to, when I say go, your eyes, I want you to blink very slowly, just very sultry, very, very relaxed. And I want you just to move your shoulder a little bit, look away, look back at me. Okay, let's do a practice one. Okay, when I say go, ready, go. Look away, look back, look away over there, Turn your shoulders a little bit. Move your chair so we can see the side. Perfect. Look back at me. Okay. When you look back at me, face your body that way and look back at me over your shoulders.
Yep.
Okay, done. So let's try again, okay? So start from here, from beginning. Ready? Okay, ready, go. Look back there. I want to see the side view. Gorgeous. Nice. Look here. Nice. So last photo. Okay. I like to exaggerate. So we're gonna like, this is photo. This is not for wedding clients, girls. This is for photos. So you just need to learn to really exaggerate photos. Like maybe with, not yet. Like here. I'm just gonna like go a little bit like wild. Just exaggerate this like line. So on content days, you can actually make so many different like looks. See here, there's like a little hair. There's a little gap. Look here, look here. More. Face here. Yes. Smile a little bit. Straight back. Okay. Face towards me. More. Yeah. More. Chin up a little. Yeah. Gorgeous. Okay. Nice. Cool. Okay. Cool. You were done.